When you wander through the forests of North America, you might be lucky enough to spot one of its most graceful residents, the white-tailed deer. These animals are famous for their beauty, their gentle nature, and the incredible antlers grown by the males, or bucks. These antlers are not just simple horns. They are one of the most fascinating structures in the entire animal kingdom. They are a true symbol of the wild, a crown that tells a story of strength, age, and survival. Every year, these bucks embark on a remarkable journey of growing a brand new set of antlers, a process that continues to amaze scientists and nature lovers alike. It's a cycle of growth, loss, and regrowth that is perfectly tuned to the seasons. Antlers are true bone, making them different from the horns you see on animals like bison or sheep. Horns are a permanent part of the animal's skull, made of a bony core covered in a layer of keratin, the same stuff our fingernails are made of. They grow continuously throughout the animal's life and are never shed. Antlers, on the other hand, are a temporary wonder. They are grown and shed every single year in a cycle that is truly astonishing. This annual growth requires an immense amount of energy and nutrients, making the size and health of a buck's antlers a direct reflection of its overall well-being and the quality of its habitat. The antlers begin their journey in the spring, starting as small nubs on the buck's head called pedicles. These are permanent bony platforms from which the antlers will sprout. Triggered by increasing daylight and a surge in testosterone, the growth process kicks into high gear. The growing antlers are covered in a soft, fuzzy skin called velvet. This velvet is rich with blood vessels and nerves, delivering all the necessary oxygen and nutrients to fuel the rapid bone development underneath. This protective covering is incredibly sensitive, and the buck is very careful not to damage it while it works its magic, nourishing the incredible structure growing beneath. What makes whitetail antlers so special is their unique shape and structure. Unlike the paddle-like antlers of a moose or the sprawling racks of an elk, whitetail antlers typically feature a main beam that curves forward, with several smaller tines or points growing upward from it. The final size and shape of the rack are influenced by a combination of three key factors: the buck's age, its genetic background, and the nutrition it receives from its environment. A young, healthy buck in a nutrient-rich forest will have the best chance of growing an impressive and symmetrical crown, a true testament to its success in the wild. So why do white-tailed bucks go through the trouble of growing these elaborate headpieces every year? The primary purpose of antlers is all about demonstrating dominance and securing mating rights. During the autumn breeding season, known as the rut, bucks use their antlers as a visual display of their strength and fitness. A large, symmetrical rack signals to other bucks that its owner is a powerful and healthy individual, one that is best not to challenge. Often, a simple display is enough to intimidate a smaller, younger rival, allowing the dominant buck to avoid a risky physical confrontation and conserve precious energy. When a visual display isn't enough to settle a dispute, antlers become formidable weapons. Bucks will engage in sparring matches, locking their antlers together and pushing and shoving with incredible force. These contests of strength are used to establish a hierarchy and determine which bucks get the opportunity to breed with the females, or does. The goal is not usually to inflict serious injury, but rather to test each other's power and resolve. The clashing of antlers is one of the most dramatic sounds of the autumn woods, a raw and powerful display of nature's drive to pass on the strongest genes to the next generation. Beyond their role in competition, antlers also serve as an honest signal to the does. A female deer is looking for a mate who is healthy and strong, and a buck's antlers are a very clear advertisement of his quality. Growing a large set of antlers requires a massive amount of calcium and phosphorus, which the buck must pull from its own skeleton if it can't get enough from its diet. A buck that can grow an impressive rack while maintaining good body condition is proving that he is genetically superior and an excellent forager, qualities that a doe would want in her offspring. It's nature's version of a billboard for good health. Finally, antlers can also be used for defense, although this is a secondary function. While a buck's primary defense against predators like coyotes or wolves is its speed and agility, a sharp set of antlers can certainly be used to fend off an attack if the deer is cornered. Bucks have been observed using their antlers to gore predators that get too close. Once the rut is over and winter sets in, the buck's testosterone levels drop, causing the connection between the antler and the pedicle to weaken. The antlers are then shed, leaving the buck without his crown until the cycle begins anew the following spring. The growth rate of whitetail antlers is nothing short of incredible. In fact, antler is the fastest growing new bone known to man. During the peak of their development in late spring and early summer, antlers can grow as much as 1/4 of an inch, or even 1/2 an inch, every single day. This rapid cellular division is one of the quickest examples of tissue growth in the entire animal kingdom. This phenomenal speed is fueled by the long daylight hours of summer and the abundance of nutrient-rich food available during this time. The buck's body works like a high-speed factory, dedicating enormous resources to constructing its new rack. This entire growth process happens while the antlers are encased in velvet. This specialized skin is a biological marvel, acting as a lifeline that supplies everything the growing bone needs. If you were to touch the velvet, it would feel warm due to the constant flow of blood just beneath the surface. This circulatory system is so efficient that it allows the antlers to grow at a pace that would be impossible for any other type of bone. The velvet is also full of nerves, which makes the growing antlers very sensitive. This sensitivity encourages the buck to be gentle with his developing crown, protecting it from damage that could lead to deformities. By late summer, the growth process is complete. The buck's testosterone levels rise in preparation for the rut, and this hormonal shift signals the antler bone to harden or mineralize. The blood flow to the velvet is cut off, and the soft, fuzzy skin begins to dry up and die. This causes an itching sensation for the buck, who will then start rubbing his antlers against trees and shrubs to peel off the dead velvet. This rubbing behavior, often called a rub, not only cleans the antlers, but also stains them with pigments from the tree sap, giving them the familiar brown and tan colors we associate with a finished rack. Once the velvet is completely shed, the antlers are revealed as solid, polished bone. They're now hard, sharp, and ready for the challenges of the autumn rut. From the first nubs in April to a fully hardened rack in September, the entire construction takes only about 4 to 5 months. For a large, mature buck, this means growing several pounds of solid bone in a very short period. This cycle is a perfect example of how animals adapt to their environment, timing their most energy-intensive activities like antler growth with the seasons when food is most plentiful and the weather is most favorable for survival. The world of whitetail antlers is full of fascinating details that make them even more interesting. For instance, did you know that no two sets of antlers are ever exactly the same? Just like human fingerprints, each rack is unique to the individual buck and the year it was grown. Even if a buck survives for many years, his antlers will look slightly different each season, influenced by his health, any injuries he sustained, and the specific nutrients available that year. This uniqueness allows researchers and even skilled hunters to identify individual bucks from one year to the next just by looking at their antlers. Another amazing fact is what happens to the antlers after they are shed. Every winter, forests across North America become littered with these discarded bony treasures, but they don't stay there for long. Shed antlers are an incredibly rich source of calcium, phosphorus, and other essential minerals. They quickly become a vital food source for many other forest dwellers. Rodents like squirrels, mice, and porcupines will gnaw on them relentlessly, recycling the valuable nutrients back into the ecosystem. This natural recycling process is so efficient that finding a shed antler that is more than a year old is quite rare. Sometimes a buck's antlers don't grow in the typical symmetrical pattern. These unusual racks are called non-typical antlers and can have extra points, drop tines that grow downward, or beams that twist in strange directions. These odd formations are often the result of an injury, either to the pedicle on the buck's head or to the growing antler while it was still in the soft velvet stage. Interestingly, an injury to a buck's body, like a broken leg, can sometimes cause the antler on the opposite side of his body to grow in a non-typical shape during the following year due to how the body allocates resources. Finally, the size of a buck's antlers is directly linked to his age, but only up to a certain point. A buck will typically grow his largest and most impressive set of antlers when he is in his prime, usually between the ages of 5 and 7 years old. After this peak, as the buck gets older, the size and mass of his antlers will gradually begin to decline each year. He will still grow and shed them annually, but they won't have the same size or number of points as they did during his strongest years. This life cycle, written in bone, gives us an incredible window into the life of one of our most iconic wild animals.